Be me, Stephanie, 31, freelance diversity and inclusion consultant. Spent the past 3 years building my practice after getting certified. Really believe in this work. Grew up watching my mom get passed over for promotions by less qualified men. Saw how corporate spaces centered male comfort over everything else. Someone needs to disrupt that. Someone needs to make these tech bros examine their privilege and create space for marginalized voices. That's what I do. Just landed a 3-month contract with Apex Digital, about 45 people, tech startup doing project management software. CEO Jennifer brought me in after their Glassdoor reviews mentioned bro culture, and diversity metrics looked bad for a funding round. My job is to make them uncomfortable enough to change. Week 2, I'm running my Unpacking Workplace Privilege workshop in their glass-walled conference room. Typical startup aesthetic, exposed brick, standing desks, motivational posters. About 15 people in the session. The women are engaged. Priya from marketing is nodding along, taking notes. Jessica from design shares stories about being interrupted in meetings. Sarah from HR is actively participating. 2 POC guys also contributing. But the white guys? Completely checked out. Tyler's scrolling his phone under the table. Connor keeps glancing at his watch. And this one engineer, Jack, mid-30s, slightly heavy-set, faded company hoodie, is sitting in the back with arms crossed, staring at the wall behind me. I do the privilege walk exercise. By the end, predictably, the white guys are way ahead. I ask how it feels. The women talk about it being eye-opening. The guys just shrug, say, interesting exercise in flat voices. After the workshop, I catch Jack in the hallway. Hey Jack, right? I noticed you didn't participate much. He gives this polite corporate smile. Yeah, just not really my thing, no offense. That's actually part of the problem, though. When people with the most privilege opt out of the conversation, nothing changes. He shifts uncomfortably. I hear you. I've just got a lot of work. But I'm persistent. The whole point is creating space for voices that aren't usually heard. That includes your struggles too. Men face things around emotional expression, vulnerability. He looks skeptical. Sure. I'd love to do a one-on-one with you. Just 20 minutes, confidential, no judgment, long pause. Finally, this resigned sigh. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. Small meeting room, no windows. Jack shows up exactly on time, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. I start with softballs. How's work going? Fine. Project's good? Yeah. One word answers. I lean forward, soften my voice. Jack, this is a safe space. Nothing leaves this room. Sometimes the hardest thing is just being honest about what we're carrying. Long silence. Then, can I ask you something? What's the point? The point is that holding everything in doesn't work. Maybe you've been told your whole life to just handle it, be the rock. But that's exactly the toxic masculinity we're trying to unpack. Another pause. Then something shifts in his face. This exhausted look. You really want to know? Yes. Absolutely. He takes a breath. My marriage is falling apart. My wife told me a few months ago that she's not attracted to me anymore. Because I've gained weight. He laughs bitterly. I've put on maybe 40 pounds over the past 2 years. Stress, long hours, eating like shit. I'm genuinely caught off guard. This is way more intimate than I expected. There's this split second where I almost want to laugh. Not meanly, just because it's awkward, but I keep my face neutral. She won't touch me, hasn't in probably 6 months, makes comments constantly. Maybe you shouldn't have seconds. Those pants don't fit anymore. Just constant digs. That sounds really painful. I've been trying to lose it. Gym at 5 a.m, meal prepping. I've lost maybe 10 pounds, but it's not enough. She still looks at me like... He stops. Sorry, this is probably too much. No, this is exactly what we need to normalize. Men sharing vulnerability. His voice actually cracks. I feel like I'm failing at everything. My marriage, my body, being the man she wants. I cry in my car sometimes during lunch. Just sit there, feeling pathetic. I'm silent, processing. Then, Jack, thank you. This is brave. This is the kind of openness that creates change. He nods, looking exhausted, but maybe slightly relieved. Does anyone else at work know? God, no. It's humiliating. Well, you told me. And that's a start. We wrap up. He leaves looking lighter. I feel successful, like I finally broke through. 3 days later, I'm having lunch at Brew and Bite with Priya, Sarah, and Jessica, the core group who actually get it. God, it's like pulling teeth with these guys, I say. They just sit there like hostages. Jessica laughs. Tyler literally scrolls his phone the entire time. Sarah sips her latte. Do any of them actually engage? This is my moment. Actually, yes. I had a breakthrough with Jack. They all look interested. Priya leans forward. Jack Chen? The quiet guy? Yeah. He finally opened up. About what? I hesitate for just a second, but this is a safe space. His marriage. He's struggling. His wife told him she's not attracted to him anymore because he's gained weight. She won't sleep with him, won't even touch him. Beat of silence. Then Sarah makes this face, trying not to laugh. Jessica lets out a surprised laugh. Oh my God. I know, I say, smiling now too, because the absurdity is kind of funny when you say it out loud. I mean, Sarah says carefully, maybe she has a point? We all kind of look at each other. Right? I say. That's what I thought. He framed it as her problem, like she's being cruel, but he did let himself go. He admitted 40 pounds. Jessica nods. And women are expected to stay perfect forever. We gain 5 pounds, and suddenly we're letting ourselves go. Exactly, I say. And then they expect us to still be attracted to them, still do all the emotional labor. Hold on, Sarah says, her HR voice activating. He talked to you about his sex life. At work? Well, it was in a private session. But still, that's kind of inappropriate, isn't it? I mean, the point is vulnerability. Sure, but there are boundaries, Sarah says. That sounds like emotional dumping. As HR, if someone said a male colleague was talking about his sex life, I'd have to take that seriously. Uncomfortable pause. I think he was just being open. That's what we're asking. Priya looks thoughtful. I mean, yeah, but also, it's weird he went there. Maybe his wife is just done with him. Right, Jessica adds. It's interesting he framed it as her failing, instead of his failure to maintain himself. We talk for another 20 minutes, but something has shifted that I don't notice. 1 week later, Tuesday morning. I arrive early, head to the kitchen for coffee. I hear voices. Tyler and Connor by the coffee machine. I catch the tail end. Called into HR yesterday. Jack? What for? Someone said he was talking about his sex life at work. I freeze. They haven't seen me yet. What? That doesn't sound like Jack. I know. He looked completely destroyed. Then Tyler sees me, goes completely silent. Both men dump their coffee and leave immediately. I stand there alone, stomach in knots, but I push it down. Jack probably said something to someone else. That's the only explanation. Over the next few days, I try catching Jack. Thursday, I see him in the hallway. Hey, Jack! But he doesn't stop. Just says, hey, in this completely dead voice and keeps walking, eyes on the floor. His shoulders hunched, head down. He looks like he's aged 10 years. That night, I text Sarah. Me. Did something happen with Jack? Sarah. Can't discuss personnel matters, but he's fine. That, but he's fine feels ominous, but I convince myself Jack probably did something else. This is what consequences look like. I tell myself it has nothing to do with me. Over the next week, the male engineers are actively avoiding me. Monday morning, I catch Jack in the kitchen at 7:30 a.m. Hey, Jack, how are you? He sees me. and there's this flash of panic before his face goes neutral. Morning? Everything okay? You seem off. He finally looks at me. His eyes are hollow, dark circles, like he hasn't slept in weeks. I'm good, Stephanie. The way he says my name? Cold. If you want to talk, I'm good. Sharp now. He grabs his coffee and walks out. I try scheduling one-on-ones with the disengaged guys. Tyler declines within minutes. Connor accepts, then cancels. Something came up. Wednesday, I'm near the engineering pod and hear Connor and Tyler talking. Just be careful, don't give her anything. I'm not stupid. I know, but she seems nice and that's how they get you. I round the corner. They see me. Conversation stops dead. Hey guys. Hey, Connor says. They grab their laptops and leave. That's how they get you. I'm trying to help them. Friday evening. Company happy hour at Murphy's Bar. I arrive around 6 p.m. The women are at a high top near the bar. Priya, Jessica, Sarah, others. They wave enthusiastically. Stephanie, what are you drinking? I order wine, join them. The energy is good. Laughing, talking, shots, fun. But I scan the bar. The male engineers are in the far corner. Tyler, Connor, Jack, others. Not really talking. Just nursing beers in silence, looking at phones. What's up with them? I ask. Priya glances over. They've been weird lately. I asked Tyler to lunch yesterday. He made up an excuse, Jessica says. Sarah watches them thoughtfully. Probably just stressed. Or they're being babies about the workshops, Jessica says, rolling her eyes. We laugh, but one of the guys stands up, drops cash. Within minutes, they're all leaving. It's 6:30. They've been here less than 30 minutes. That's actually weird, Priya says. I feel frustration and unease. They're resistant to change. We're disrupting their comfort and they don't like it. Sarah nods. That's probably it. But Priya looks uncertain. That night, 3 glasses of wine in, I text Sarah again. Me. Be honest, did Jack do something? 10 minutes later. Sarah. He didn't do anything wrong exactly. Someone expressed concern about boundaries. It's being handled. Me. Who? No response. Me. Was it about our one-on-one? Still nothing. That uneasy feeling spreads through my chest, but I drown it with rationalization. Jack must have talked about it inappropriately with someone else. That's why HR got involved. I didn't do anything wrong. If he got in trouble, that's on him. I tell myself this until I almost believe it. Wednesday morning. CEO Jennifer calls me in. Her office is corner space, windows overlooking downtown, modern desk, motivational books, framed awards. Thanks for making time, she says. I wanted to check in. Good, I say defensively. The workshops are really landing. That's great. I've heard positive feedback. Pause. But I'm seeing concerning trends in our engagement data. Oh. She pulls up a spreadsheet, turns her screen. Look at the male employee scores since you started. The numbers have dropped, significantly. Participation down 23%, satisfaction down 18%. Open-ended responses say they feel they have to be careful what they say, that the environment feels tense. Heat rises in my face. That's exactly what we'd expect during culture change. People with unchecked privilege feel uncomfortable when that gets disrupted. Maybe. But this is all male employees, not just white men. Our Asian engineers, Marcus who's black, their scores drop too? Because they're still men. They still benefit from patriarchal systems. Stephanie. Her voice is firm. I brought you in to improve culture, not make half my workforce feel unsafe. Unsafe? I laugh sharply. They're not unsafe. Women are unsafe. Men examining their privilege isn't. One of our senior engineers is on a performance improvement plan because of a complaint related to your work. I go still. Jack. Yes, Jack Chen. 4 years here. 0 complaints, 0 issues, excellent reviews, and now he's being investigated for inappropriate workplace conversations. Then he had inappropriate conversations. Jennifer looks at me for a long moment. Did he? Or did something else happen? I don't know what you're implying. I'm asking directly, did Jack share something with you in confidence that made it to other people? My heart pounds. One-on-ones are confidential unless... That's not an answer. I may have debriefed with Sarah. That's standard when someone shares concerning information. What was concerning? I fumble. He talked about his sex life. That's not appropriate workplace conversation. In a mandatory D&I session that you told him was a safe space? We stare at each other. Jennifer, if Jack was making people uncomfortable, was he? Or are you retrofitting justification? I stand. I don't think this is productive. Sit down. I sit. I'm not firing you. Your contract runs through the month, but whatever happened with Jack, it scared people. The men on this team are terrified of you. Maybe they should be scared. That's not the work. That's fear. And fear doesn't create change, it creates silence. That evening, my apartment. I'm furious. I open PowerPoint. Title, Professional Boundaries and Emotional Labor. I write, Inappropriate workplace disclosures. Details about your sex life or intimate relationships. Trauma dumping without consent. Making your struggles someone else's responsibility. I text it to Sarah and Priya. Me. Thoughts for Friday's workshop? Sarah. Perfect. Priya. Are you sure this is the right move? Me. Yes. People need boundaries. Priya. Okay. Friday afternoon. The workshop. Conference room full. Mandatory attendance. Women in front, men in back. Jack's in the far corner, staring at the table. I go through slides, talk about emotional labor, about appropriate vulnerability versus dumping. When I hit the inappropriate disclosures slide, the temperature drops. Jack shrinks in his chair, gets smaller. The key thing to understand, I say, is that vulnerability isn't a free pass to make people uncomfortable. There are appropriate channels for personal issues. Therapists, counselors, friends outside work. Your colleagues aren't your emotional support system. I avoid looking at Jack. When we bring deeply personal, sexual, or traumatic content into the workplace without consent, we're perpetuating harm. We're making others responsible for our emotional regulation. That's not vulnerability. That's labor extraction. The women nod. Sarah takes notes. The men look like statues. Jack's face is bright red, jaw clenched so tight I can see muscles working. Any questions? Dead silence. Great. I'll send a feedback form. People file out immediately. Jack practically runs for the door, head down, shoulders hunched. Priya catches my eye. She looks sad. 15 minutes later, parking garage. I hear footsteps behind me. Stephanie. I turn. Tyler. Power walking toward me, face tight with anger. Tyler. You know what you did, right? His voice shakes. I don't. You know exactly what you did. If you're upset about the workshop, Jack trusted you, specifically you, in a confidential session. He did what you told him to do. He was vulnerable. He shared something deeply personal and humiliating. My heart hammers. I don't discuss. You told Sarah, at lunch, at Brew and Bite, you told Sarah and Priya and Jessica about his marriage, his wife, his weight, his sex life. You gossiped. I was debriefing with HR. Bullshit. You laughed about it, and now Jack's on a performance plan. Half the office thinks he's a creep. His reputation is destroyed, and you just spent an hour lecturing everyone about how what he did was inappropriate. If he made people uncomfortable, he didn't. He talked to you, in private, and you weaponized it. I feel cornered. Intent doesn't matter, right? Impact matters. Tyler laughs. Ugly. Are you using your own talking points? Intent doesn't erase impact. That's on your slides. And now you're defending your intent? I can't speak. Jack worked here 4 years. 0 problems. Everyone likes him. and you destroyed him in 3 weeks because he trusted you. That's not fair. You made him the example. You made him the reason none of us will ever say a word. You want to know why we sit in silence? Because we watched what happened to Jack. Tyler's voice drops, quieter, more dangerous. You built a trap. You told him it was safe, then destroyed him for believing you. And when it blew up, you convinced yourself he did something wrong because admitting you betrayed him was too uncomfortable. He turns to leave, stops, looks back. He has 2 kids, a daughter and a son, 7 and 9. He coaches his daughter's soccer team. He's not some teaching moment, he's a real person. And you broke him. Tyler walks away. I stand alone in the parking garage, hands shaking. I don't sleep. Lie in bed, replaying it. Tyler's voice. You told him it was safe, then destroyed him for believing you. I keep trying to find the version where I'm not the villain, but it keeps falling apart. Around 3 a.m., I make tea, sit at my kitchen table in the dark, open my laptop, look at my slide. Inappropriate workplace disclosures. Details about your sex life or intimate relationships. I stare at it. Jack didn't bring it up in the break room. Didn't share it in a meeting. I asked him. I pushed him. Told him it was safe. Told him vulnerability was brave. And then I took what he shared and discussed it over salad. Laughed about it. Maybe she has a point. Oh God, I said that out loud. Monday morning, 7 a.m. I text Sarah to meet me. She arrives at 7:30, looking wary. Did you report Jack to HR? Her face closes off. I can't. Sarah, please. Long pause. She sits. Yes. The floor drops out. Why? Because you told me he was talking about his sex life at work. That's inappropriate. That made me uncomfortable. I have a responsibility. It was in a confidential session that I pushed him to do. Stephanie. Her voice is patient, like explaining to a child. He told you his wife won't have sex with him. That's sexual content. In a workplace. That crosses boundaries. But I asked him, and honestly. Sarah leans back. Maybe his wife has a point. He did let himself go. 40 pounds. Why is that her responsibility? Why should she stay attracted to him when he stopped caring? I stare at her. Those are my words. My exact words from lunch. That's what you said, Sarah continues. Remember? You said it was interesting he framed it as her problem instead of taking accountability. I know what I said. So what's the issue? This is accountability. This is consequences. Isn't that what we talk about? My stomach turns. Sarah, I violated his confidentiality. You were debriefing with HR. That's appropriate. Look, I know you're feeling bad, but you didn't do anything wrong. Jack made the choice to share something inappropriate. He's a grown man. This is on him. She's using my framework, my language, my logic against itself. I stand abruptly. I have to go. Tuesday afternoon. Hallway. I nearly run into Tyler. Tyler, wait. I need to know how Jack is. He stops. Doesn't turn. You really want to know? Yes. Long pause. He's been sitting in his car during lunch every day for the past week and a half. Just sitting there. In the parking garage, not eating, staring at nothing. My throat tightens. Connor tried to check on him yesterday. Knocked on his window. Jack wouldn't even roll it down. Just sat there, like Connor wasn't there. Oh God. He has 2 kids, Stephanie, a daughter and a son. He coaches soccer. He's a real person who trusted you, and you destroyed him. Tears burn. I didn't mean... I know. That's what makes it worse. You did it casually, over lunch, because it was awkward and funny, and when it blew up, you told yourself he deserved it, because admitting you betrayed him was too uncomfortable. He pauses. Jennifer got an anonymous complaint against you, multiple male employees, hostile work environment, confidentiality breach. They're calling for your contract termination. I feel punched. Who? Anonymous. Could be anyone. Could be all of us. He looks at me steadily. You built a system where silence is the only safe answer. Jack was the lesson. No one's making that mistake again. He starts walking. Tyler, what do I do? He stops. Doesn't turn. I don't know, Stephanie, but right now, you're the most dangerous person in this building. He leaves. Wednesday evening. I sit in my car in the parking garage. Same place Tyler confronted me. Same place Jack sits every day. Concrete. Fluorescent lights. Oil stains. Echo of engines. This is where Jack comes to cry. Where he sits alone because nowhere else is safe. I finally see it clearly. I pushed him to open up. He resisted, but I convinced him it was safe. That vulnerability was brave, that nothing would leave the room. Then I took his most intimate shame, his wife's rejection, his body, his failing marriage, and discussed it over lunch. Laughed about it. Agreed maybe his wife had a point. I didn't protect his confidence, I violated it. And when consequences hit him, I told myself he must have done something else, something worse, because admitting I betrayed him was too painful. Then I made him sit through a workshop that was basically public flogging. Used his situation as an example without naming him, but everyone knew. Everyone saw him shrinking. I built a system where men are told to open up, then punished for doing so. The silence isn't resistance, it's survival. It's the only rational response to what I created. And now, Jack sits in his car every day, too broken to eat, too destroyed to face anyone. On a performance plan, because I gossiped. I put my head on the steering wheel. I'm not the hero of this story. I never was. I'm the danger they all learn to fear, and I built this trap myself.